Hey VC, this is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. Unless this is the first time you're viewing my channel, then simply welcome. Today is Sunday, the 7th of November. Daylight savings time has officially ended, so the days are getting a little bit, well, technically they're getting longer, but as far as I'm concerned, they always get shorter because it gets darker earlier, which typically on the east end of Long Island means things start shutting down, and we're a beach and boating community, so this is about the time of year, the holidays, and then kind of for 2 months, nothing's going on. But this year, I'm going to be doing my very first record show that I'll be selling at on the 21st of November in Massapequa. Massapequa is a city or town up west from where we are, and they're doing a record show on the 21st. Now I'm going to be selling there for the first time, and I'm kind of looking forward to it, and I'm going to show what I'm bringing to the show today. So if anybody, and I know a lot of you already do record shows, but kind of give me some insight as to what you bring, what you don't bring, what price ranges, etc. I'm going to avoid bringing dollar records. I'm thinking that would be something I do at my yard sale. So I'm kind of going to go 5 and under, and then some more high-end stuff and some other odds and ends in the middle. But anyway, let me know if you do record shows, if you're a veteran of them, what you normally bring, what you don't bring. So let's start with this week's records. So today I'm going to show some of the records I'm bringing to the record show, and some 45s that my buddy gave me today. My buddy John is my best friend. He's actually, as far as I'm concerned, I consider him my brother. And ran into him today, and we've been, meaning to do this for a while. Ran into him today, and he had his truck out for a drive, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you stop by the house and get those 45s?" And so I did, and he gave me some really cool things. I'm going to show you what he brought me first off, or what he gave me first off. So we're going to start with a nice copy of Van Halen's Jump in the picture sleeve. Record is really nice, really strong condition, so and the sleeve's intact. Anytime you get a 45 with an intact sleeve, I'm always psyched because they seam split so easy. Moving on to Winger 17. Really not a big Winger fan, but again, 45s, metal 45s or hard rock 45s with picture sleeves intact are always something that is desirable, as it were. And then he got 4 copies of this called The Henchman. Now this is a death metal 45. I'm not a big fan of death metal. The name alone is off-putting, let alone the music. I think that's just a little bit too much, even for me. But if you know anything about these guys, drop me a note. Let me know who they are. I'm guessing if anybody who is in, who of my followers or the people who watch this channel, probably Mr. Finglish, you would be the one who would most likely know who these guys are. Like I said, really don't know much about them. I don't know anything about them, honestly, other than it's a really interesting, glossy cover. I mean, it's a good-looking 45. It really is. Nice label. I mean, really solid artwork. And the 45 is right on point. I mean, it really is just a nice 45. And there's 4 copies that he gave me, so that was cool. So thank you very much, John. If you happen to watch this video, thanks again, my brother. You're always on point. All right, moving on to the record show stuff. So backstory to this, not the record show, but the ones I'm bringing and ones I'm showing, is I'm going back about 7 years, and I had just started seriously started collecting records again. I'd been buying them back and forth and kind of like had that, lot of 100 or so albums that I've always had with me. And I got a call from a young lady who said, my husband is looking to sell his record collection, and can you come down and take a look? And if you're interested, make an offer. So I said, of course. And again, I really had no idea about record collecting other than, just the personal ones or twos. And I only really knew about the stuff I liked. I really didn't know about jazz or anything else. It was things that I liked is kind of what I was going for. So I go, and this woman's husband had about 1,800 albums. And he was kind of all over the place, a lot of classic rock, a lot of fusion, a lot of jazz, a lot of everything. And so I was overwhelmed at first. It really wasn't anything I was expecting. I mean, now it's not a big deal, but then it was a huge undertaking for me to even consider buying these things. So I said, well, how much were you thinking about the collection? And she said $1,000, and I kind of, went, a little gulp there, and I was like, okay. So I looked over them, and we talked a little bit back and forth, and we reached an agreement on $700 for the collection. And I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. It was the most money I had spent on a collection of records. And my wife looked at me, and she's like, well, give me some kind of logical reason here. Why are we spending $700 on 1,800 records, or 2,800, or whatever, however the amount was? And I was like, well, I've been selling a little bit here and there on eBay, and I'm looking at what they have here, and there was a lot of stuff, a lot of Beatles stuff, a lot of stuff. And I was like, I think we can sell a good chunk of this collection and not only recuperate our money, but maybe double it. And so we made the transaction. I bought the records, I picked them all up, and I sold maybe like a third of the collection, and I stopped. I said, this stuff is just too damn good to sell. And so I started my collection. So they wound up in my personal collection. And so my collection expanded exponentially from that point, from like 100 or so albums to a little over 1,000 records. A lot of them are still in my collection today, and I have doubles and triples of a lot of them. I'm going to show you some of the ones that I'm going to sell today, and I wanted to tell you where they came from, so there's there's a backstory to what they are and what they're not. So I'm going to show you some things, and I'll just start with some generic stuff. These are the ones that originally, from this original purchase, from the very, very first purchase, that got me back into record collecting and record selling too, because I honestly really didn't think much about records other than to collect them, and I certainly wasn't considering selling them on eBay didn't even know about Discogs realistically at the time. And so I kind of just, the whole thing started, and now like a great many of you in the vinyl community, I buy and I sell records both on Discogs and on eBay, and I buy collections, and but I always think back to that initial purchase, that initial $700 scary as hell purchase, because hey, look, this is 7 years ago. This is a little bit, about 7, maybe 8 years ago. It was right at the latter part of the really nasty recession that started in 2008. So this is going back 2012 or so, in that neighborhood, so maybe like 9 years ago. But here's the records, and this guy was a little older than me, so all these were his personal collection that he bought, and a lot of them he bought from Titus Oaks Records, which is was a huge record store out by us. So we'll start with a sealed copy of Roxy music, and you can tell that this is the first pressing copy of the two young ladies, the two girlfriends of the two band members who were shot. One was topless and in their underwear, and eventually it was pulled, and the front cover became what is the back cover here. So this is a sealed copy of Roxy, and I think this was the first. This is a first edition, so I have that. I'm going to be bringing this to the record show and selling it. or trying to sell it. I'll be asking $200 for this. If you think that's excessive or too low, just leave me a comment, let me know. I'm kind of hoping to get a little bit of help from you guys on this this week. Because like I said, it's been a while. So the next one is another sealed copy. This is a 1977 pressing of Elvis Costello, My Aim Is True. It's got the hype sticker on it. So I'm bringing this one as well. Moving on to a sealed copy of Van Halen's Women and Children First. Now, these are all sealed copies of records I already have. As I said, these were doubles. And this guy had his collection he kept his records on point across the board. So they were absolutely immaculate. So even though I have a sealed copy, the play copy that I have from this gentleman's collection is every bit it plays every bit as well as a sealed copy fresh out of the package replay. So that is there as well. Moving on to the next one. This is again another sealed copy. This is again from Titus Oaks Records. This is Terrapin Station from the Dead. I'll be bringing that as well. So those are the sealed copies. Those 4 albums. Those are the ones I'm showing this week. There are others as well, then along with those sealed copies of those 4. But I figured let me just show those and to get an idea of what this initial collection was. And it was, again, it was just so good and so well maintained that I had no qualms about keeping them and putting them and starting a new collection. And then, of course, I discovered the vinyl community a few years later, and all you folks that I follow and whose videos I watch, and who inspired me to start making videos as well. So now moving on to some other albums that I'll be bringing. I'm bringing up the way this record show works, from what I understand, is you get a 6-foot table to rent for the day. So I'm bringing as many albums as I can fit on the 6-foot table and some 45s. And again, I'm not bringing any dollar records. The only dollar records I'll be bringing, unless you guys tell me that I really should, the only dollar records I'm bringing is a box of 245s. Typical classic rock stuff, the Doors and Zeppelin, etc., etc., etc. And those I'll be selling for $1 each, because all of them are devoid of sleeves and they're all in generic sleeves. So I figure $1 is more than fair for those 45. So also what I'm going to be bringing is the following. I've got this really nice copy. This is from a collection that I bought earlier this summer, that I kind of had set in our storage locker. It's about, I think I've spoken about this before. This is a $1,200 record collection that I bought, that my buddy basically said, hey, just take them, would you? So a nice promo copy of Whitesnake. So this is coming with me as well. Ready and Willing is the album, by the way, and it's in really nice condition. So I'll bring that to the show as well. Ravi, I'm going to try to pronounce it correctly. Ravi Shankar, Portrait of a Genius. Now, Indian, I guess it's assorted Indian music, but I'm bringing this because he actually signed this thing. And I have sold a few of his records on eBay, so I know that he has a following. I've not heard of him. Not really my cup of tea as far as music, but I thought it was cool. It's signed. So give it a shot. Let's bring that as well. And then concluding with Bertha. Now, this is a quartet, Southern Rock. This happens to be a promo copy. 1972 pressing. Nice copy. Great jukebox. I wish I had one in my house. Record is also in very good condition. This is an ABC Dunhill, and you can see it's a white label promo. I really don't know anything about this band. I don't think I've ever spun anything of theirs. Actually, this was today. I went to the storage locker. I was putting a couple of boxes that I already set up for the show away, and I was going through the catalog of other stuff that had the other boxes of things, and I ran across this, and I was like, let me do a quick search on Discogs. I found that it was a reasonably priced record as far as a resale volume is concerned. The promo copies pump it up a couple of dollars more. So I'm going to spin it when I'm done with this video, just to kind of get an idea of who and what this band is. If I'm not mistaken, and again, I could be because I've not really don't know them, this seems to be a quartet, a female quartet of Southern rock and roll. They are as follows. Rosemary is a bass player, Sherry's keyboards, Shelly is guitars, and Liver is drums and vocals. Well, you know, there you go. Let me put this over here so you can see it. And so I'll probably bring this one to the show as well. All right, so that's it for this week. It did run a little longer than I normally do on my videos, but I did want to show the records and give a backstory to why I have all these sealed records, and I have more as well besides these, and where I got them from, and the authenticity of the albums, and they're not represses, etc. If you like my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and please do leave me a comment. You folks, all of you know how much I enjoy the banter back and forth. It's always pleasurable to hear from fellow record collectors and their experiences with either a song or a record or whatever the case might be. So that said, have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your longer nights and shorter days if you are in a time zone or in a state that follows daylight savings time. If you're not, hey, never mind. In any case, have a great week. I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.